Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an Infantry Officer. Russian armed forces opened the reporting period with a massive combined strike on the Ukrainian defense industry, energy infrastructure, and military airfields in response to terrorist attacks on Russian civilian infrastructure. Ground operations continued across all axes, with the East Group advancing deep into defenses and all sectors reporting tactical improvements. The past 24 hours have been characterized by sustained positional gains, continued attrition of Ukrainian personnel and equipment, and an expansion of deep strikes to 159 districts. The Center and East Groups again account for the highest reported Ukrainian casualties.
Colonel, let's begin with the opening statement. Last night, in response to the terrorist attacks launched by the Kiev regime against civilian infrastructure facilities on the territory of Russia, the armed forces of the Russian Federation delivered a mass strike by ground and air-based long-range precision weaponry and attack unmanned aerial vehicles at Ukrainian defense industry enterprises, power infrastructure objects used by the armed forces of Ukraine, and military airfields. The goals of the strike were achieved. All the assigned targets were engaged. This is framed as retaliation, but operationally, what does a strike of this scale and scope accomplish?
Let's break down the target sets, because each one has a distinct operational purpose. First, defense industry enterprises. This is an attack on Ukraine's ability to produce its own weapons. Ukraine has developed a significant domestic defense industry, producing drones, armored vehicles, artillery systems, and ammunition. By striking these enterprises, Russia is trying to reduce the flow of new weapons to Ukrainian forces. This is a long-term play. The effects may not be felt immediately, but over weeks and months, the loss of production capacity will become critical. Second, power infrastructure objects used by the armed forces of Ukraine. This is an attack on the energy grid that powers Ukrainian military logistics, command centers, and industrial production. Without reliable power, railways slow down, factories halt production, and command posts lose functionality. This is an attack on the nervous system of the Ukrainian war effort.
And this sets the stage for the ground operations we're about to discuss?
Exactly. The night strike is the shaping operation. It degrades Ukraine's strategic depth, its ability to produce weapons, to power its logistics, to launch its own strikes. Then, on a battlefield already shaped by that degradation, Russian ground forces go to work against Ukrainian units that may already be feeling the effects of disrupted supply lines, reduced industrial output, and degraded command and control. It's a fully integrated operational design.
Let's move to the ground sectors, starting in the north. The North Force Group reports taking more advantageous lines and positions and engaging 1 mechanized brigade and 2 territorial defense brigades in Sumy, plus 3 mechanized brigades and 1 National Guard brigade in Kharkiv. Ukrainian losses include 175 personnel, 8 vehicles, 1 artillery piece, 1 EW station, and 2 material depots. Nothing stands out as extraordinary here, but how does this fit into the broader picture?
The North Sector continues to play a fixing role in the overall campaign. The personnel losses, 175, are significant, but not the highest we're seeing. The key numbers are the 2 materiel depots destroyed. Every depot destroyed represents supplies that will not reach Ukrainian frontline units. In a sector where Russian forces are not seeking decisive engagement, the attrition of logistics is the main effort. By slowly bleeding Ukrainian supplies, the North Group ensures that Ukrainian forces here cannot be reinforced or used to threaten Russian flanks elsewhere. The 1 EW station destroyed continues the pattern of sensor degradation. Without EW protection, Ukrainian units in this sector are more visible to Russian reconnaissance and more vulnerable to Russian strikes.
In the west, the West Group reports an improved tactical situation and engaged 4 mechanized brigades and 1 National Guard brigade. Ukrainian losses include 2 armored fighting vehicles, including a US-made M113 APC, along with 16 vehicles, 1 artillery piece, 1 EW station, and 4 ammunition depots. 4 ammunition depots in one sector is significant. What does this tell us?
4 ammunition depots in the western sector in a single day is a major logistics blow. Ammunition depots are not easy to find or destroy. They are typically hidden, dispersed, and protected. To destroy 4 in one sector suggests that Russian reconnaissance has achieved a high degree of battlespace transparency here. The M13 APC is an older system, but it's ubiquitous in Ukrainian service. It carries troops, supplies, and casualties. Losing one degrades Ukrainian mobility. But the 4 ammunition depots are the real story. Each depot represents thousands of artillery shells, mortar rounds, and small arms cartridges. Without them, Ukrainian units in this sector will soon face ammunition shortages, limiting their ability to fight.
In the south, the Southern Group reports improved tactical situation and engaged 4 mechanized brigades, 1 assault brigade, 1 mountain assault brigade, and 1 special operations brigade. That last one is noteworthy. What is a special operations brigade doing in a defensive line?
This is another sign of Ukrainian manpower stress. A special operations brigade is an elite unit trained for deep reconnaissance, partisan warfare, and high-value missions behind enemy lines. They are not intended for static defensive combat. The fact that a special operations brigade is now engaged in the southern sector, taking casualties, holding a line, tells us that Ukraine has exhausted its conventional reserves. They are being forced to commit their most highly trained, most valuable soldiers to plug gaps in the defense. This is a poor use of special operations forces. Every special operator killed or wounded in a trench is one who cannot be used for the missions they were trained for. It's a sign of desperation.
The Center Group reports the second highest Ukrainian personnel losses of the day, up to 270. They engaged a diverse array of units: 1 mechanized brigade, 1 infantry brigade, 2 Jaeger brigades, 1 airmobile brigade, 1 assault brigade, 1 marine brigade, and 3 National Guard brigades. The diversity continues. What does this tell us about the state of Ukrainian defenses here?
The Center Group continues to be a main effort, and the diversity of Ukrainian units engaged tells us that the defensive line here is a patchwork of survivors. Mechanized, infantry, Jaeger, airmobile, assault, marine, National Guard, each has different training, different equipment, different radios, and different tactical doctrines. Coordinating these disparate units is a nightmare. Russian reconnaissance is almost certainly identifying the seams between them and feeding that information to the Center Group's strike complexes. The 3 EW stations destroyed here are significant. EW is the glue that holds modern defenses together, jamming Russian communications and drone feeds. Losing 3 in one sector creates a major vulnerability.
The equipment losses here are 3 armored fighting vehicles and 13 vehicles, significant but not overwhelming.
The focus in the center seems to be on personnel attrition and EW degradation. By attriting Ukrainian manpower and blinding their electronic warfare, Russian forces are preparing the battlefield for future advances.
The East Group reports the highest Ukrainian personnel losses of the day, up to 340. They continued advancing into the depth of enemy defense and engaged 2 mechanized brigades, 2 air assault brigades, 5 assault brigades, and 1 territorial defense brigade. 5 assault brigades in one sector. What does that tell us?
5 assault brigades is a significant commitment of elite forces. Assault brigades are trained for the most difficult missions, breaching fortified positions, conducting urban combat, leading offensives. Their presence in a defensive sector tells us that Ukraine is throwing its best remaining units into this fight to try to stop the Russian advance. The fact that they're being attrited, up to 340 personnel lost, suggests they are not succeeding. The East Group's continued advance into the depth of enemy defense indicates that Russian forces are penetrating Ukrainian lines and exploiting their success. The loss of 1 tank here is also notable. Tanks are the backbone of mechanized warfare. Every tank destroyed reduces Ukraine's ability to conduct counterattacks or hold defensive positions.
The range of settlements mentioned spans both Zaporizhzhia and Dnipropetrovsk oblasts, indicating a widening battle space.
Exactly. The East Group is operating across a broad front, engaging Ukrainian units in multiple locations and preventing them from concentrating for a coordinated defense. This is exploitation at the operational level.
The Dnieper Group reports engaging 1 mountain assault brigade and inflicting losses of over 35 personnel, 10 vehicles, and 1 ammunition depot. This sector remains relatively quiet, but the attrition continues.
The Dnieper Group's role is to fix Ukrainian forces along the river and prevent them from being redeployed to the east. The loss of 10 vehicles and an ammunition depot may not seem dramatic, but over time, this attrition adds up. Ukrainian units here become less mobile, less supplied, and less capable, exactly the effect the Dnieper Group is intended to achieve.
Let's turn to the operational tactical section. Russian forces struck pre-flight check and launch sites for UAVs, as well as temporary deployment areas in 159 districts. That's up from 147 yesterday and the highest number we've seen. Air defense systems intercepted 136 UAVs and 2 guided bombs. What do these numbers tell us?
The expansion to 159 districts is significant. Each district represents a geographic area where Russian strikes have occurred. The increase from 147 to 159 in one day suggests an intensification of the deep battle, not a let-up. The targeting of pre-flight check and launch sites for unmanned aerial vehicles is particularly important. This is a direct attack on Ukraine's drone warfare capability. By striking these sites, Russian forces are trying to disrupt the entire drone kill chain, from preparation to launch. This is a more sophisticated approach than simply intercepting drones in flight. It's about preventing them from ever taking off. The 136 UAVs intercepted is a return to the mid-range after the 115 we saw yesterday and the 541 we saw a few days ago. This suggests that Ukraine's drone campaign continues at a significant scale, but Russian air defense is maintaining effective coverage.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to emphasize that the targeting of temporary deployment areas of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries is also noteworthy. These are where units rest, refit, and prepare for combat. Striking them disrupts force generation and kills personnel before they ever reach the front.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.